Greetings gastronauts, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keith, and today I'm going to make something that is, well, it's Canadian drunk food. You don't have to be drunk to eat it, but apparently people frequently are. I'm going to show you how to make poutine. Got to do some shout outs, one for Amy Lewis in Utoxeter, requested by boyfriend Niall Burney. And also somebody made a donation. Yes! Janet Fitch, thank you very much. Much appreciated. And a big shout out to Dagenham Dave, who's been hovering around my comment section for a while and asked for a shout out, so there you go mate, you got it. Anyway, yeah, and you lot, if you like this, give it a like, share, subscribe, become a patron, make a donation, and things like that. Now, poutine has been on my radar for a while, but I did actually get a request from it from Rain. It sounds brilliant. It's cheesy chips and gravy, and few things in the world are better than that. So yeah, now that I've got the means to make cheesy things, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make my own curds as well. So enough waffling, let's go on with it. I'm going to make my own curd cheese. So for that I've got 4 litres of milk, a teaspoon of cheese salt, kosher salt. I don't actually need 4 litres, but I'm doing some curds for something else, which will be the next video. So hopefully I don't get too confused and mess it up. As always, when you're doing anything cheese related, you need your equipment to be sterilised. So I've been boiling it in water for, well, more than 10 minutes. 10 minutes does it, but longer is better probably. So I've got my straining spoon, spatula, measuring cups, measuring spoons, the tongs themselves, and you will need a thermometer, so I've just wiped the tip of that with IPA. Isopropyl alcohol. So before I start heating the milk, I'm just going to dissolve the quarter rennet tablet in a 1/4 cup of water. And I forgot to sterilise a teaspoon, so I'm using one of my little measuring spoons just to break it up and make sure it's fully dispersed. Right. Time to make the milk go off. So we do that by heating. We want it to slowly come up to 37 degrees Celsius. This milk, by the way, is non-homogenised, meaning that the cream floats on the top like it always used to do in the good old days. It should work with most kind of milk except for UHT, ultra pasteurised milk, which just basically destroys the proteins in the milk and they will not separate. The best milk is raw unpasteurised milk, but you can only get that from, in the UK, a handful of farms that are licensed to sell it because, you know, health and safety. And only crazy people want to make cheese anyway, so that's not to be encouraged. When it hits 37, take it off the heat and we'll add the rennet and basically just pour it through your slotted spoon or your perforated spoon. And then just raise your spoon up and down through the milk to make sure that rennet is evenly dispersed. I've got some globs of fat floating on top of this because some of the milk had kind of solidified in the bottle where I'd lain it on its side. So there's a tip, keep your bottles upright. Okay, then we'll leave that alone for about 10-15 minutes and the curds should form. So it's been standing for 15 minutes and it's not looking right just yet. What we're looking for at this stage is called a clean break, meaning that when you put a knife through it, the two parts stay separate and don't join together. So that feels fairly solid in places, but as you just saw, it's not a clean break, so I'm just going to leave it for another 10 minutes. 15 minutes later, and that looks like a clean break. So I'm just going to cut the whole thing into kind of 1-inch cubes. Oh, these are fabulous. Great curds. So for the poutine curds, this I've taken out half for the other thing, and I'm just going to pop this back on the hot plate, and over the space of about 30 minutes you want to raise the temperature to 47 degrees Celsius. This is a bit problematic. I got it up to 47 and then it kept on going up, so I had the induction hob on its lowest setting, which is too hot. So basically I've been taking it off, putting it on, taking it off, and yeah, it's a bit of a palaver, I kid you not. And but anyway, you want to keep it around 47 degrees now for another half hour. Right, here's me cooked curds. Woo! And I'm just going to drain them again through cheesecloth in a colander. What I could do right now is turn that into mozzarella, because that's just perfect and it's melting and it's just the way that mozzarella should have been. Except when I made my video, take note, I missed out this step of cooking the curds. Naughty me. I didn't expect to get anything like this amount of curds out of this. And we just tie the muslin in knots, and we'll just hang it up to drain for, well, about 20 minutes. Alright, so the curds have drained a bit, and now we need to get them out of the cheesecloth, tip them out onto a plate. Whoa, look at that. Ooh. Right, so I think we want to chop that up a little bit. There's my lovely curds, so I'm just going to sprinkle a teaspoon of salt and then kind of chop it in half, and again get rid of the weight, and then I'm going to press this for an hour or two. So I hadn't mentioned this before, but I got all my cheese making gear, well, it's from a kit made by an outfit called Cheese Monkey. And part of the kit is this, which is a cheese mould, and this blue thing, which is a sort of plastic cheesecloth. So I'm going to use that to press my curds into like a block. So just pile them in. Alright, there's more curds than room, but I think that situation might change when more of the whey has come out. That's fine. And now you want something heavy to weigh it down. So I found this jar that kind of fits in, and I filled it with water. That's not very heavy, so I'm going to pop this unopened bag of flour on it. 1.5 kilos. We'll just let that ooze whey for an hour or two. Right, things got a bit fraught yesterday, so I didn't get this finished. Here's my curds, which I pressed and formed into a solid block, which is quite impressive. So I'm just going to cut these into sort of little brick-shaped pieces, and they've been in the fridge. You want to get them out of the fridge and let them come up to room temperature, so that, you know, when you actually serve them on the hot chips, they will start to melt. Right, I'm going to make my gravy, and I'll start off by making a roux. So I'll melt some butter in a saucepan and then stir in the same amount of flour. Get that mixed into a nice kind of paste, and because this is going to be a dark gravy, so we can let it kind of brown a little bit. Not quite burnt, but enough for you to be able to taste it, and it will have a kind of nutty flavour. Now for the rest of the gravy, I've got some homemade chicken stock, some beef stock made up from a cube, and a bit of tomato passata, or you could use tomato puree, or not use it at all. So I'm going to add my chicken stock and my beef stock. Now there are ferocious arguments raging all across the internet about whether you should use a beef gravy or a chicken gravy for your poutine, or even a mixture. It's all a little bit silly. My gravy's a bit too runny, and I don't want to sift any more flour in because, well, I have been, and it's been going lumpy. So I'm going to make up some beurre manière, which is just butter and flour, and you just kind of mix them together with a fork until you get the paste. Then you can pop that into your hot gravy without it turning into lumps, and that will thicken it. Fingers crossed. There it is. I don't know if you can see that. We'll just pop some of that into the gravy, stir it in, and heat it up. Okay, we've got some little lumps, but I think they'll probably disappear after a bit. Right, that's thicker, so I'm going to have a taste. Oh yeah, that's nice. But I promised you passata. So that was, what, probably a tablespoon, 2. Oh yeah. I could just eat that. Right, so now I'll put that out the way and I'll get on with making my chips. To make the chips, some beef dripping or tallow or vegetable oil in a pan, some potatoes, we need to peel them. Some people like their chips with skin on. I'm not one of them, so I'm peeling it. Now I need to chip them, about 12mm square, about half an inch. Okay, now I need to rinse these to get all the starch off, and then pat them dry on kitchen towel. In case you think this is just a bit too much trouble, it isn't. It's really worth it, because I did some the other day where I didn't rinse them, and because I'm using, you know, a 2-stage fry, so the first one is quite cool, it just softens them. The second one is quite hot and browns them. The ones that I didn't rinse just turned really dark brown almost immediately, but the rinsed ones stay golden and go crispy, which is what we want. So I'm waiting for my fat to melt. I think I'll turn it up a bit. But I'm not giving you temperatures because generally they don't work. All you need to know is coolish medium heat to start with, and then hotter for the second fry. Okay, I've just got a bit of potato in there to test temperature. That's bubbling nicely, so we'll add the rest of the chips. So just let those cook for maybe 5-10 minutes till they feel soft when you prod them. They feel nice and soft and they're not browned at all, so I'll just take them out, put them in a colander lined with kitchen paper, and then we'll turn up the heat on the fat and we'll heat up the gravy, and we can dish it up and we will have poutine! Yay! Okay, hot fat, so we'll just carefully lower some chips in. And they should turn a lovely golden brown in a couple of minutes. I'm going to turn it down because it's a little bit too ferocious. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, maybe a teeny wee bit longer. Alright, I think that'll do. So let's take them out and pop them back in the colander with some more kitchen paper. There it is, cheesy chips and gravy. And to tell me if it's any good, because I don't know. This is KeefCooks.
So what did you say this is? This is Canadian fast food?
Drunk food.
Junk food?
Drunk food.
Drunk food.
It's what you have when you've had a skinful of stuff. And you need curing.
Yeah, you could definitely get that down your neck if you were drunk.
She's no good at being drunk. Doesn't get enough practice.
It reminds me of some other slightly rubbery cheese we've had from our vast experience of these things.
Halloumi?
Yeah, halloumi.
Well,
Which famously has no flavour as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how ex-people get excited
she
about
accused
halloumi.
me of making tofu earlier. Yeah. But you know.
Yeah, this is dairy tofu, this is.
Well, tofu is soybean curd, so it's not far off. Anyway, I don't think I got the curds quite right, because they're supposed to squeak.
Squeak.
Thank you.
Not melt.
They're supposed to squeak against your teeth. And also they should melt, but it's cold.
I think you have to grow up with that. Don't do that. No, it's like mushy peas. There will be people who go, what? But why? And you can't explain, but you've grown up with it.
I'm moving to Canada. I love this.
I've got no problem with chips and gravy. And you could eat all the cheese. There you go.
There's quite a bit.
There is, isn't there? Chips and gravy with stuff. That's my take on this. I can eat it. It doesn't do me any harm at all, I think.
And it's vegetarian. Apart from the stock cubes and that.
Can we turn the camera off and eat these nice chips and gravy? I love chips and gravy. You know, when they're crisp with fish, it's fantastic.
Okay.
But when they're soggy with gravy.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
You know, if you didn't watch, he wouldn't make these things.